we can start with the Ryan Presley situation on Sunday, but this is about umpires. This is about the way they've been taking over games. And I am once again here to say that umpires need to be held accountable. We've had to do this a few times now. On Sunday, Ryan Presley, the closer for the Houston Astros, is in a 4-run game. There's 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. He throws inside on a batter. It didn't hit him. He got out of the way of it. He hadn't thrown at anybody at any point. There was no warnings on either side. The umpire comes out from behind home plate, decides to meet with the other umpires. Ryan Presley is rightfully so really frustrated. Umpires are right in front of him. He says something, and the umpire ejects him. Ejects him from the game. And he had an attitude about it. You know how you can tell when, people have an attitude? It looks like they want to throw him out. It looked like he wanted to throw him out. And that's been the theme here this year. It looks like umpires are wanting guys to say something to him. Like, say something. I'm going to throw you out. I look back at Madison Bumgarner. There was a situation with him earlier in the year. Madison Bumgarner comes out after the first inning, walks back to the dugout, wasn't happy with a few calls that inning, gets his hand checked for the substance check, and it starts lasting way too long. And there's a video of the umpire doing this substance check, staring into his soul. It was really, really weird. It was really odd watching this. The umpire just doing the substance check isn't staring at his hand. He's staring right at him and just petting his hand. It was awkward. So eventually Madison Bumgarner's like, hey, wait, what are you doing? Let's go. Umpire throws him out of the game after 1 inning. Ridiculous. Over the weekend, in the Cubs-Cardinals matchup, Oliver Marmol, Cardinals manager, ends up getting thrown out of the game because there's a massive missed call. There were plenty of missed calls in that game, but there was a big one with the bases loaded. The Cardinals were down 4 runs, 2 outs, bases loaded, full count. There's a pitch that was legitimately a foot outside that was called a strike. Marmol goes out. He throws his iPad. This was a great ejection, by the way. Throws his iPad, draws a line in the sand. I'm here for all of this. But you know what? I'm not expecting umpires to be perfect, but it's the attitude they have about them. It's the things they're saying throughout. This umpire said to Oliver Marmol as he came out that the pitch wasn't that far off. He said it wasn't that far off. Oh, that really grinds my gears. Are you kidding me? Wasn't that far off? I don't care. If it's off, it's off. This one happened to be that far off. It was a good 6 inches off at minimum. But nothing pisses me off more. This happened to me all the time at the plate. I will ask or I'll be disappointed in a call. I'll know it's off the plate. When you get to the point where you're playing baseball professionally, you know the strike zone, and you probably know it better than umpires because nobody has stood in that box more than you. So I'll know when a pitch is off, but I'll say hey, that was off. And nah, that was a good pitch, Ben. What do you mean that was a good pitch? I don't care if it's a good pitch. It's either a ball or it's a strike. There is a plate there that you can look at and that tells you what is a ball and what is a strike. For that umpire to say it wasn't that far off, that's a ridiculous thing to say. Even not that long ago, this week, Zach Gallen on the mound for the Diamondbacks. The umpire almost charged the mound after him. What is happening with umpires? It's ridiculous. You gotta be held accountable. And I really thought about this. I was thinking about why we're seeing this more and more often. Why, missed calls are a part of baseball. But why does it seem like the umpires are inserting themselves into games more and their personalities? And I really started thinking about it. Over the course of the last couple of years, we've talked more and more about robot umpires. the call for robot umpires has come up more. So I almost feel like umpires have said, we're going to prove that we are needed in this game. You need us. This is what we can do on the field. But it's backfiring. Even more so, people are like, get him out of there. I'm not for or against robot umpires right now. I think having an umpire behind the plate making the calls is part of baseball, but their egos should be out of it. And if they continually are bad, well, they need to have repercussions. Send them down. Bring up umpires that are doing a great job. But there's no place for their egos involved in baseball, and that's what we're seeing more and more in the game right now. We saw it over the weekend. We've seen it over the course of the season. It's really bad, and all I'm saying, once again, is that there needs to be repercussion for umpires.
What if we didn't have to go the length of having to go to robo-umps, but kind of installing something like the NBA did, which I thought was beautiful a couple years ago, where, I know you can't challenge balls and strikes, but in high leverage situations, you should be able to challenge an egregious call. If it's an egregious call like it was in the St. Louis game, bases loaded, you should be able to go, hey, get someone from New York to tell us that was a strike or not. Now, do you think something like that, or would that just be going against the umpires too much and to make them look super bad?
So that is similar to something that I have pitched earlier this year, but I don't think that's the direction, because we don't want more challenges where you have to go to New York. But what I do want to see is something similar to what we see in tennis. Okay? There's a judge, there's a line judge there that makes all of the calls. But if a player disagrees with that call, they can, in the moment, raise their hand, challenge it, and then they bring in the technology. They have that Hawkeye technology that is able to know in a heartbeat whether it was in or whether it was out. So what I would like to see, and actually what my brother tweeted and proposed in baseball earlier this year, was that we have a system set up like that, where you get almost like a veto. You get a challenge, but it has to be in the moment, and you use the technology to buzz down, and in that moment say, yeah, you know what? That was a strike. That was a ball. If you lose, if you're wrong, you lose it. And you only get one, the pitcher and the batter. But what I think that does, and I think umpires should like this, is it would help with those egregious missed calls. You know what we saw the other day? We saw an umpire miss a call, and as the pitcher was coming off the field, he said, I missed that. I'm sorry. I missed that. I love that. But what this would do is, in the moment, you're able to correct that. So we don't see a game in the ninth inning end with a call that's 6 inches off the plate. The Cardinals game the other day, where the ball was 6 inches off the plate in a situation with a tying run at the plate, down 4. You can challenge it in the moment if you have one, and technology should easily get in the umpire's ear and say that was a ball. A beep if it was a strike. And then you move on. It takes 5 seconds. That's what I would like to see. And we have the technology to do it. We see it in tennis. And I think it would just help correct the egregious missed calls. And I think umpires would be on board for that. They're human. They miss calls. I'm not asking umpires to be perfect, but I'm asking for us to catch up with the times, use the technology we have, but still use the umpires behind the plate and to get their egos out of the game. Too much to ask? I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, it's the year 2022. We have way too much technology to still be messing up the simple things as balls and strikes. And I think that that's one thing MLB has kind of been reluctant with, is that, hey, we're going to let our umps be humans. They're going to go out there and do their thing. But as you alluded to, there's just no repercussions for calling a bad game.
Yep. Thanks for watching. If you love Flippin Bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.